Yo, what's up guys? Right, this is a bit of a different video, a bit of an interesting one. Losing a job, not getting paid, wasting my time, and various other bits and bobs towards the story. So if I cast your eyes and ears back to last week's weekly video, I said this. Ceilings are all dropped, everywhere was lath and plaster. Initially went around to quote as a rewire, but the guy said he's just run into a bit of financial stuff and he was hoping if we could just reuse what's there. Instantly, I just said no. I'll be completely honest, I'll tell you exactly the way it is, and so you're not being messed around and I'm not being messed around. Because of the state of the cable and how it was and how it was laying through the ceilings, I said you've got the most key prime opportunity here to rewire it where the ceilings dropped, there's no plaster on walls in the kitchen, it's very, very simple for it to be rewired, you might as well. I said, if money's not a problem, we can see if we can chop and change some ideas of how it's wired, what fittings are used, if there's any downlights. Like, we can bring the cost down a lot with the certain things that we put in, which is, you know, we can all do. So I said, if you want it being used the way it is, you need to find someone else. If you want me to rewire it, we can have a chat and put pen to paper and see if we can figure something out. He was happy with, so I said to him today, I'm not going to give him a proper quote as such on pen and paper because he wants it as soon as possible. So I said in a little bit when me and Adam got half hour spare, and we'll sit together, worked out with Adam sort of how many sockets. It's a 2-bed terraced house. The bathroom's downstairs at the back, which doesn't need touching because it's already been redone. Obviously needs a new board and a new rewire. But only a couple of sockets in each room, bring the cost down, and we should be able to help the guy out. So in the video, we went over to go and quote for a gentleman to do a rewire. He was very hesitant for us to do the rewire because of a situation he was in. And I did say in the video, he gave us, what I said in the video was a sob story. And it was a sob story, and it was one of them, and I did say in the video, we can't help everyone out. We're here to run a business, we're here to make money, we're here to feed our family. At the same time, like I've said in other videos, we're here to make a living, not a killing. Some other people do the complete opposite. So from that, I actually recorded this video yesterday. After sitting on it and calming down a little bit, I'm rethinking some other stuff through. I wanted to re-record this to put a different spin on it for you guys, to hopefully you can see from my perspective and the gentleman's perspective. So he's going through a bit of a tough time, and I didn't take into consideration, which was yesterday's video, of his mental state. Maybe being forgetful, maybe 110 things going through his head, and I was the last priority on the list of things to text or to ring or to notify. And I completely understand that now. Yesterday was a different situation, very angry at the time. So what it was, we squeezed this guy in, we dropped the price down loads, we were going to quote to do the bare minimal stuff in his house for a rewire, which was fine. We just gave him what he wanted at the best price we could, where we're still paying for our bills and he's getting a good service, a good reliable service and professional service from ourselves. We went around, quoted, everything was happy days, but my first mistake, going back to the clip, what you just saw, is he wanted to quote ASAP. So I said, within a couple of hours of being there, I'll come to the unit, I'll figure out a price, put a price together and just text him across. I never did it properly and formally through my Tradify app. There was no contract signed, there was no quote accepted other than via a text. So that was the way it was left. I said I can come in next week as soon as possible for you, because there was no ceilings, there was no bricks on the, no plaster on the walls. It was very quick and easy for us to do, and we planned to do a rewire within 2 days in a 2-bedroom house. That was the plan. I spoke to Jack from JRC, got him to book a day off work to come and help us, which was going to be paid. Everything was going hunky-dory. The customer would text me that morning. The key would be, the door would be open at 8 o'clock for you because he wasn't going to be there, so we could let ourselves in and crack on. We then turned up at the road, just shy of 8 o'clock, and there was another tradesman going into the property. I thought, oh, that's weird. I thought it was just us here, never mind. And it's only when he walked back out the property, he had a bit of earth sleeving hanging down from his belt. I thought, that's weird for a plumber or a plasterer or something to have earth sleeving. It could only mean one thing. He was a spark. I thought, all right, so got out the van. He was looking at us funny, I was looking at him funny. Not in a strange way, but like, what are you doing? I said, you working here? He said, yeah, I'm rewiring it. I was like, that is so strange. He was like, why? I said, because I've turned up today to rewire it with my company and my lads. He's like, oh, that is weird. As you can imagine, the conversation we had between us was, it was fair, like, there was no animosity between it. He's a spark, I'm a spark. We had a chat about everything and figured out that the guy come and quoted last week as well. He'd also given a price. He said he could start on Monday. We said we could start on Tuesday. And I think the customer has got very confused between texting me, accepting my price, everything, no problem. This is the day I can start. To him saying, that's great, thank you ever so much for all your hard work, and being very quick and responsive to the text and the quote. And he'd said exactly the same thing to the other guy. So I can only presume in the guy's messages or phone that he'd saved us both as just electricians, rather than Nick or the other guy's name or whatever, our businesses' names. And this guy had already started rewiring the property the day before. So I got on the phone to the customer. Obviously you could tell I'm not best pleased, because Jack's just turned up, traveling 50 miles on the motorway to come work for us for the day. And the customer just apologized, said he got confused, just kept saying sorry. And at that moment, obviously very, very angry, as you can imagine I was. First of all, 2 days pay out the window, having to pay Jack for his time, and then have no other work to jump in on that day, because with the jobs that we're doing at the moment, there's nothing we could jump on that day. It's having to organise with customers and getting keys and this, that and the other. We'd obviously organised the van, bought stock, bought materials, loaded it up the night before, wasted an hour the day before filling the van up for an early start the following morning. And before I said anything nasty or swore at the customer or did anything that I would regret, I just put the phone down. I said, all right, okay, just put the phone down. Because that's the only thing I could do without trying to ruin the professionalism that we've sort of built up. There was many things I wanted to say to the customer, and after getting back and speaking to my other half about it, she has set me in a different mindset of the stuff that he could be going through. He is going through a tough time, and he's obviously got very confused and has just purely, let's say, forgot or got us mixed up. And yes, it's cost me money, it's cost Jack money, it's cost me my time, but that's not the end of the world. And it really isn't the end of the world. It's annoying, and I was annoyed all day yesterday. Woke up this morning with a fresh mindset on it, and it is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change it. I can be as angry as I want, it's not going to change it. If it had been a different scenario where I had gone on top and I had actually sent a proper quotation, the normal, right way, which I normally do, and not rushed, I could have potentially taken this person to court for wasting my time. Whether or not I would ever have is a different story, but the processes I normally go through for the past 12 years of building the business up and figuring out what's right and what's wrong and learning from my mistakes. I'm still making mistakes. This is another prime example, big mistake to make. It's cost me money, made me look like an idiot to other people. And the best way I can think is to document it and show you guys of the mistakes I make, so hopefully you cannot do the same and learn from my stuff. Hey ho, I'll be the guinea pig. But it's frustrating and it's annoying. Like I said, it's not going to matter. It's not going to make any difference of being annoyed for the past 2 weeks. It's not going to make any difference of me texting him, giving him abuse, or ringing him up, annoying him. Like, I've just took it on the chin. Hey ho, it is what it is. And I know I keep saying it is what it is, but there's not a great deal I can do about it. I know people can say you've got a contract through text, all this sort of stuff, but I look at it and go, just take it as a big L. It happens, move on to the next one. The other Spark was saying to me, because we found it amusing after we'd had a chat and everything, and I was just gobsmacked really. And he said he's had a couple of customers recently not paid him. Jackson in the past before, he's turned up and there's other been Sparks there. This is the first time for me that this has ever happened. And realistically, it's probably not going to be the last now. It was a good learning curve for me, good learning curve for Adam, maybe for Jack. He obviously found it very funny. I did offer to pay Jack for the day for his wasted time, which would put me more out of pocket, but he said no. We came back to it and had a bit of a laugh and a mess around. But I just thought I would share the story with you of, it's cost me, I quoted him £2,600 to do that. 2 double sockets in every room, the board change, sinking stuff in the walls, all that sort of stuff. And you know when in your head you allocate that money, right, I've got that for the week and this and that, the other, and you plan out of the money you've earned for the month, and you figure out as a businessman, or people that run their business, I should say businessman, business person, throughout the month you figure out what's going on and how your business works and your turnover and your cash flow. And when you've already allocated, right, this has been accepted, you put it in the pot and you go, right, cool, this is that. And now it's just like, oh, hence the moment I'm here making this video. We've done a job this morning, thought this afternoon I'll come in and I'll redo this the proper and the right way without being angry or mardy and having a better, fresh outlook on it. Because like I said, you have no idea what people are going through. I could have made the situation much worse by either calling him out, which I'd never do, or constantly harassing him or anything like that. But that's just me. Other people would do things differently, but you need to think of all the mental health stuff I've ever chatted about and all the stories I've said before is, we really don't know what goes on in people's heads behind closed doors, especially if they don't speak. So try, as angry as you are in certain situations, try and see a different point of view and try and reason with yourself to try and look at a different point of view, because, like I say, it could, what you say to someone could really harm someone in the right situation or wrong situation, should I say. So learn from my mistake, guys. Don't do what I just did. Try and do everything properly. Sorry, my phone keeps texting in the background. Someone hasn't turned it on silent. And hit subscribe, like, and all that jazz. And I'll see you in the next one.